towards the damage dealt by Justin, who's currently 57,000 on his Savior. 12 minutes in the game with already level 12.
I'm not really sure what's happening, right? Because the way that RSG Singapore has drafted this, they are relying heavily onto the what?
Oh my god, Naomi gets another hook there onto Brave. 505 with a desperate play on a Numenor Blast. Will try to just scramble for something. Naomi again gets Miku. The flicker comes out, but that's the turret. Again, this is such a big moment for Falcon. Getting that turret will ensure that now they have the map prio for another 2 minutes, or maybe just entire game here. The hook just there. Oh man, just out of range by a little bit. Dawning Light on the 3 members there. Diablo gonna get caught in the Mystic Field. Taken very low, even with the consecration up.
Oh, that was so close, go 505. Fortunately for him, he was a Lolita. He had the shield to actually block the Iron Hook. But at the same time, this is exactly why Franco is still an S tier pick, despite the not much changes has been made into the patch. It's just so annoying to deal with.
Oh man, Naomi again, the Lord taken quickly now. It's gonna be Naomi looking for the hook onto Miku. Mikumi. Ken gets a kill. Oh my, Ken gets killed there. In the fight, the real world inflation was actually getting that advantage. Down to Mystic Field coming in. The re-engage was out of Falcon Esports as Naomi goes for suppression. Gets one, and that's 505 taken down again. Still worth it for Falcon. They pick up the enhanced Lord. Baby Cakes, this might be too greedy, man. He dashes outside, but he's gonna be pinned down. Baby Cakes Wesker trying to outplay Naomi, dealing the damage, and that's Silent to pick it off. Killing spree now for the side of Silent. Yellow Flash pushing in that mid lane. They're looking to end right here, right now.
Do you think they can? I mean, 3 members have already been taken down from the side of RSG. Only 2 members left with a man advantage. Falcon, they're looking for an end.
Oh, Diablo, he's trying his best. I think he's going to be over. Look at this. Falcon, they just got so much damage. Miku is just paying with his life, but the crystal will fall, and that is going to be game 1 by Falcon Esports against RSG.
That was dominant.
I was just about to say, that was a dominant performance coming in from Falcon. I mean, from the early game up until the very end. But I gotta say, that huge game changer was definitely Naomi being able to get those hooks, those really important pickoffs, denying any sort of capacity that they could scale from the side of RSG. Really left them like basically helpless because they were relying so heavily onto that Matrix, and the amount of damage that she was purging was close to 0.
You mentioned Silent, Justin. Now Naomi comes into play. I'm just waiting for Ken to have his moment as well, man. At this point, this team is not just consistent out of like that 2 things. One-dimensional, not anymore. They've shown their true cards here in the lower brackets, and I can't wait to see more. RSG, though, they're gonna have to reset. Let's go over to the analysts.
Yes, Miracle, the analyst segment here with me, Getting Q, as well as Lavelle. You can follow us on our social medias. But we got to break down this game between RSG and Falcon Esports. And so far, Falcon are looking great.
You know what? It's a good time to be a Falcon fan. This is a time they have to cheer as loud as they can. But honestly, right, we want to analyze the game. I think we're just going to be talking about Naomi, like, again, the Franco. That Franco is almost, it's impossible. It's crazy. He's doing it time and time again. And I don't know about how everybody is doing these days, especially letting this Franco through. I think in this current meta so far, it has been extremely difficult to actually go with these picks and bans because, again, so many talented players, so many impactful picks. With this being said, I want to remind everyone watching at home, make sure you guys get your MSC guesses on the Esport Hub because, again, if you guys are Falcon fans, if you guys voted for Falcon win, you guys will get a lot of coins that you guys can redeem for a lot of MSC goodies. But yes, let's talk about the game again. Okay, here's the thing. Naomi played well. However, I do have to say, on the side of RSG, I kind of feel like they could have positioned a little bit better to avoid the picks. But here's the thing, the reaction time for is just too much. I can't snap that fast.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Naomi was catching the right targets at the right time. His reaction time through the roof, and more importantly, so I do think that RSG could have done a little bit better in certain situations here. But first of all, hopefully we get to see the item list in a little bit. Maybe we can see, the highlights. That's the one I want to see. Because again, one big blunder came through the Lord. And man, after that, wait, sorry, not Lord, Turtle fight, after that turtle fight, things were just going downhill for RSGSG.
For my side, I just want to look at where they prioritize what to hit because again, everything happened on mid just because of the kill pressure between both the Franco as well as the Savior. Because again, having a lot of burst is good, but having control, that's better because you can see how they really focus on the mid lane, making sure that everything that happens in mid is controlled, and that might be the win condition for the side of Falcon, where they see as long as we make sure that Miku Mikumi cannot do anything, it's gonna be oppressive because I cannot count any successful real world manipulations.
Yeah, all of them either being canceled early or forced out, or just being hit by an iron hook.
Yeah, it's just a combination of both. Forced and then still get hooked.
I don't know. I think in these situations, it's hard to say because earlier we were talking about the way you should be jiggling or the way you should be like looking to position yourself, and more importantly, just having the fact that you have a Lolita to check face check rushes for you, and even just the Guardian's Bullet to actually block the iron hook to save yourself. With that being said, let's have a look at the item list and really break this down. This is a short game compared to what we've seen yesterday, but let's take a look real quick.
Yes, in terms of the itemization, I like the fact that for the side of Falcon, every single time that the Franco hook hits, they really don't care about what they have. They just use all of it. Now I want to focus on Yellow Flash on the balance because in terms of balance, a lot of players really change up their first item. We've seen the Jangan sword. We've seen molten S's going into the first helmet. But over here, Yellow Flash from the corrosive side, making sure that he really stacks up on those slows. And we saw how from the side of RGSG they tried to force a ward fight, even though Falcon already separated for themselves. But look at how tanky he is just by having all these defensive items. There's really nothing that RSG could do.
Yeah, I mean, Yellow Flash got ahead really early on, but let's not talk about Yellow Flash right now. He was tanky, he was on island, he wins all of his 1v1s, but Justin, he either secures kills or more importantly saves bad situations for the rest of the team. He's got 4 items 14 minutes into the game, fully built, and they're not cheap, they're expensive.
Yeah, right now let's look at the damage numbers because I feel like that can really show a lot about what happened in the game as well. And look at the damage like we're talking about. Let's look at just 85,000. All right, okay, Gideon, let's take a minute over here. 85,000, compare that to RSG where the highest is 49,000 and the second highest is 35. If you combine that as like what? 85-ish,
oh
85-ish thousand. So
it's 84,000. Even then, it still doesn't compare. I mean, it's still 1K ahead of the 2 highest damage dealers from RSG put together. It's nuts.
and even look, 7,000 total damage taken. He was just no one could really dish out enough damage to this guy. No one could hit him. That's the amount of coverage. That's the amount of coverage that the Franco is. And here's the thing. Franco is so scary. Even if he didn't hit the hooks, it's a lot of pressure. But hitting those hooks, respect.
Yeah, real respect there coming out from Falcon and Esports. They made sure that they made every second count until the competition was worth it. Our MVP going over to Justin, coming in from Falcon. He is following up on these hooks time and time again. He's got 12 assists because he has that kind of pressure. And when things don't go well for Falcon, you know he will open up the gates to either lock and give that extra bit of movement speed for the rest of his team.
Here's the thing. It's a collaborative effort. I would say Falcon won off of their mid lane.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, mid diff, because in this situation, their mid lane has so much kill pressure, so much. And when we look at the highlights, that's why I really want to touch on it, because again, looking at how they controlled everything,
Yeah.
that is really the key, because I've seen a lot of people debating on the mid lane matchups. You have to consider the roamers there as well. So let's look at the highlights to see what really happened throughout the game.
To kick things off, the early section of the game just didn't seem to be looking too good for RSG, but RSG did not let up. They pushed back. Diablo, every single time he's making plays across the map and he's pulling attention to himself. Look at bottom side. First tower's gone, but this blunder right here.
I think this just shows that you gotta ban out the Franco, because Baby Cakes, I feel like he's positioning bad because that's not an angle you want to come in as a gold laner. But look, Naomi doesn't even wait. He just knows. It's like he can see 5 seconds in the future. He knows where you're gonna be, and he's gonna land the iron hook. I think that is a big problem. Naomi is showing. If you give me a playmaking tank, a playmaking support, a playmaking roamer, then honestly, the rest of the side of Falcon, they just gotta be there just to give the damage. And that is why, if we look at the rotations, both EXP as well as the gold laner and the jungler, they rotate to the mid. They don't rotate to the side lanes.
I mean, based on the way that RSG was actually looking to draft, as soon as they saw the Franklin, they're like, okay, that's just one pickoff that they don't, that again, they have to play around, but they can't do anything about. The second half of the draft, they're getting rid of Salinas, making sure that any kind of single target lockdown is taken away, and even taking a Lolita to try and protect themselves against it. So I think RSG has a lot of thinking to do, but this upcoming game is going to prove it. Let's throw it over back to the casters for game number 2.
Thank you so much for the stellar analysis, Gideon and LaFell. Back here again onto the caster desk with Eterna, Mirko, and Icy Baby 1-2. Man, that was an insane game. Again, very dominant coming up from Falcon Esports up against RGSG, who kind of controlled the first 2 minutes of the game up until that 5th minute turtle. That was the big blunder that Gideon mentioned there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It all came down to priority targeting, right? Like the Franco, especially coming from Naomi, it's just been so on point, making sure that Eve doesn't have a pretty good time. But at the same time, you know what's good? That is going to be our EGG Network's official media partner is coming in for MSC 2022, our Southeast Asia's 24/7 esports channel under the Astro Malaysia group. You can also catch MSC 2022 at EGG Network channel 800 at your home, and you can also check them out on their social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, as well as Twitter. Do check them out because they do give you some amazing Mobile Legends experience.
You know what else gives you amazing MLBB experience? Man, we saw the Johnson yesterday, right? Well, you guys can pick up that Johnson skin, the Optimum Pride Johnson skin here. MLBB X Transformer skins are now available. Perform draws until July 7th for chances to win awesome rewards, including the Roger Grimlock skin, new battle emotes, new custom actions, and previous Transformer skins as well. So don't miss out. Go and check it out now because I got all the skins.
You did?
Of course, man.
I only got the Grimlock one though.
I want the
Come on, man. I got all of
one.
it. All of it. The
Even the
Grimlock one
purple
is
and
really
blue
cool
one
though.
is also really cute.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday too.
Yeah.
I only had the Grimlock one.
I think it just gives you a buff, you know? You feel
does.
you feel confident. You feel like a robot. You're
I
just
feel like
efficient.
you can just throw people off because it's one of the very few skins that has complete different animations compared to the rest of the skins.
I agree. You know,
Gives you a buff then.
the only hero we haven't seen here is the Granger, right? I want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
the Granger, man. Do you want to see the Granger?
I want
It's
to see the
Megatron, bro.
export, bro. I want to see
I'm an
my
export guy, too.
Bumblebee.
I forgot
I'm
about
an export guy, for sure.
Well, back again though, here on to the second game is Falcon Esports. They're gonna try to bring up that momentum. Follow it through here in game number 2. Silent. When this man gets outperformed by Naomi, it's a feat, right? Like this guy, he's been the one. He's been the center stage when it comes to the carrying in that late stage of the game. The comeback yesterday up against RSGPH as well. Silent was the one dishing out that damage, positioning so well. And now I want to ask, who's the weak link at this point?
I don't think it's more of a weak link. It's more like the drafts, right? When it comes to the patch notes, especially when Julian became a big part, it was a new patch, it was the integration, it kind of forced out a lot of S-tier picks, and people prioritize on those S-tier picks instead of the usual fear factor what Franco brings to the table. So I feel like people need to realize that Franco is still a big threat. It completely isolates the fight. But now, without further ado, we're jumping straight into the drafts here for second game, with this time RGSG on this first pick and also banning off the Johnson from the get-go.
Yep, this time around, it does seem like RSG are going to stay in that first pick position. So maybe coming into this next draft, they might want to prepare and realize that they might want to swap out that Esmeralda ban with maybe the Franco ban, or do they want to pick it up for themselves? So that's definitely still on the table for them, as they do have that first pick. But as you can see here, pretty much standard bans. The Akai hasn't banned away, so has the Wanwan. But now, actually, they switch things up with a Tamus ban instead of that Esmeralda.
And what's fun here, what's a fun fact, is that RSGSG has actually stayed in that first pick. So they're still trying to maybe pull off the same strat, but maybe this time a little bit more wary of the Franco's positioning and their own. Johnson, Julian, now the Tamas. So they didn't go for the Franco Bandek, instead went for the Tamas. What do you think of this?
They could have first picked the Franco for themselves if they decided to go for it as of yet. It feels like they want to keep things open for themselves. But at the same time, I can respect the Tamas ban because the Uranus-Tamas matchup was not exactly favorable for RSGSG, considering that Diablo was expecting him to mirror up. But the beauty about the current patch is that you can build a corrosion scythe into it, and he tentatively gives a lot of power spike after he gets it and just 1v1s anyone outside who's pretty much isolated from right. So it might be the case, but seems to me, looks like we are going to be wrong on the table. The Franco wasn't a big threat from RGSG, and they completely ignored it and first picked Esmeralda instead.
Yeah, they weren't having that really like passive side lane pressure that was happening onto them in that previous game. So they have instantly locked in that Esmeralda that, as we know, is a very solid EXP laner, wins most of the matchups, unless of course if Falcon wants to take that really risky move of trying to win it and using that Dairoth. But for the part of it, I want to see if Falcon is going to go for a similar strategy, maybe pick up the Xavier once again with the Franco being paired up.
Yeah, now's the question, right? Because from RSGPH, we usually see the Beatrix and the Franco. Falcon, we saw the Beatrix from Silent. We know how Naomi plays the Franco too, based on game number 1. But no, they opt to go for a Uranus here. Now, this is the question, right? Usually, RSGSG, this is what they like to play with. Get Diablo a strong laner up in the XP lane. With that, they buy so much attention up top to give Baby Cake space to farm. And now, seeing the Beatrix picked up from the side of Falcon, do they want to just go for another scaling type of marksman, maybe a Clint, or do they want to just pick up an aggressive one like Popo and Koopa, try to bully out this Beatrix in the lane?
I feel like they can keep things open a little bit more, considering that I feel like the Franco isn't too bad again, but Falcon was very, very smart to adapt in this situation. They know that if they go for the similar draft by picking a receiver, RSG will figure out a way to counter it. So they want to keep it options just as an element of surprise and see and react to what RSG is going to be picked. Are they going to pick Franco, or are they going to take the Xavier away instead?
That's definitely the question, but it
Oh,
turns out
okay.
what broke is still something that they want to keep choosing. So it is going to be the Eve pick coming through once again, as well as that Lolita. But the difference is now they do have better wombo combos set up here, that if they want to go in for those team fights, it can be set up better, especially with the real world manipulation that can also cross over with the Falling Star Moon from that Esmeralda. But as a response, Falcon once again, they know where their power spikes came from, and it is going to be once again Naomi's Franco.
Yeah, again, I wanted to say before the Franco pick went through, it's either the Xavier or the Franco, right? The thing is, what's going in the mind of Falcon currently is what made them win that early phase of the game in the mid lane specifically. It's the Franco more than the Xavier. Yes, Xavier opened up a lot of these spaces, gets the CC with the Mystic Field, but I feel like, again, Franco, Naomi was just so on point. I think he can be comboed in with perhaps any mage here.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm criticizing here from the side of Falcon, or I'm doubting, is what do you need to pick to be able to withstand the pressure that Eve has in that early stage? Xavier, yeah, you can just outpoke him sometimes, especially with the Franco pressure.
I feel like this is very smart adaptations coming from Falcon. Like, they understand that the Franco is good, but the Xavier, like you said as well, the Xavier isn't exactly the end of the road. You can pair it with any other mage, but I feel like RGSG, they realize that the only way Xavier pops off in early stage game is because of setups. Like, you can chain CC the setups to prolong the fight to get instant, easy, free kills. Franco and the Mystic Field does really, really well with that. But not many mage does that. Not many mage has those kind of setups that allow you to stun. And forcing a Eudora isn't exactly a good mage to do for this kind of execution. So it's something that they can deal with it. Lolita has had his positions where he was blocking a lot of these iron hooks, and that's what I feel like RGSG is still putting themselves in a spot that they want to challenge this again.
You know, when you were talking about that, I had to disagree. I think there are a lot of mages that can actually burst someone down and combo with the Franco, of course, other than the Eudora. I was thinking more of someone like the Kagura, but they chose the Lilia. So, okay, so the thing is, the Lilia is great at initial wave clear. She has very good damage in that early game. The burst is definitely there. But that wombo combo burst isn't as instant as you would expect if they use, like, let's say, a yin-yang overturn. So Falcon Esports, they do have AoE damage though, so it gives them a little bit of more flexibility in their winning conditions when they're going in that game.
You know what I was thinking of?
What?
Falcon, right? Falcon, bird power,
Farsa.
man. Farsa, there you go, man. Farsa is up for grabs, still haven't been picked, but look, okay, so RSG, yeah, they do go for the marksman that just scales here. On the Irithel, I personally like this from RSG. It's basically a more refined version of their front-to-back composition that they've tried to pull off in the first game. Falcon, though, again, they have multiple win conditions here, especially now with the Tyrok in the jungle. Wait, is the Tyrok in the jungle? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's
For a
gonna be
second, I
jungle.
was like, Uranus jungle, flashbacks to Indo, but yeah. Eterna, based on this, which composition do you like better?
This is hard. I mean, in
one's
this
tougher.
particular case, I would like to say RSGSG. My reasoning behind it is that in that previous game, Falcon was able to be really aggressive with the duo coming in from that Savior as well, but I don't think Lilia has as much pressure. And like they mentioned in that analyst segment, that the winning lane was from that mid side and was able to dominate from the get-go. And without that type of pressure, I don't know if they can pull the same thing twice.
Well, hopefully with this adaptation coming from RSGSG, with a little bit of difference here, they are going to be doubling down and they are bringing the triple tank composition against Falcon Esports, whereas they are going to be sticking for something that still works for them.
Will the momentum carry on for Falcon, or will RSG get that 1-1 to equalize the score? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Land of Dawn for game number 2. Falcon takes on RSG.
Okay, and as you can see here, it's going to be an early hook that connects onto 505 here. So just from the get-go, it's only been 30 seconds that we moved into the Land of Dawn, and already Naomi once again showing his dominance.
Here we go again. I don't know how is this gonna go down, but hopefully RSGSG they have learned their lesson and adapted, because that opening hook just shows me otherwise right now.
Yeah, it's getting really scary now, right? When you try, or you already know how he plays, and then he just invades your jungle like this. Level 1, Bray gets taken really low. He's forced to pop that shield unity, and now without that little Wanderer, and now that he's forced out of his own jungle, 505 is going to be targeted. Ken does so much damage, forcing 505 to flicker. Miku trying to look for the trade, but the hooks again just pin him down for Ken to pick up the kill. It's another first blood for Falcon.
Oh, look at this pressure coming from Falcon.
Wow.
They're so confident. They know Naomi can mess up this Baxia play, and because of that, they switch up. Instead of focusing mid, they still do, but they add on the jungle. And look at this, the hooks coming in, just scaring them all, but now they have to back out, and Naomi, they need to make a run for it, and they actually will lose their life in this vicinity. Ken trying to make things work for the side of RSGSG, but it's not going to work out. That's going to be him down as well.
2-for-0 trade here for the moment, as it is going to be RSG coming out on top for this particular area. But what I wanted to mention is how good this Franco pick is, right? Sure, when you think about the Franco, you think about, okay, really good pickoffs, but there's so many other things that you can do. Let's say bait those buffs away, really deny that initial farming pattern that, of course, RSGSG wants to make. But now, those type of patterns have actually been starting to be read by the side of RSGSG, and they're trying to maneuver around this.
Yeah, again, RSG really good at punishing these little mistakes. Falcon overextended just for a bit, and RSG were able to just pick up 2 kills for free. Now, RSG are first onto that turtle, but it seems like Falcon have recovered really well. They're gonna go onto that turtle. 505, no shield. Bray looking for the shield unity play onto the flanks. Not getting it just yet, but the hook, just nearly dodged away from Bray. He's starting to get the gem. He's starting to get that pattern from Naomi when he throws the hooks.
No, that was a little bit too close to be called comfort there, but at the same time, both teams still trying to wait out masses, but especially coming from the real world manipulation. And so far, it is going to be stalemates coming from both teams, but it looks like they are going to try a second attempt at forcing the issue. But look at this, 505 is almost down towards his level 4, and once he's had his Numenon Blast, maybe that's going to be the way to go. However, down bottom,
Ooh, Baby Cakes actually maneuvers himself out really well, but you cannot escape it. Naomi just too on point. Even with the jukes, it doesn't matter. Yellow Flash now looking for the opening once again as Diablo's gonna get bursted down. That's the damage that you need from the Dairoth. He picks up a kill. 100-0 instantly, and again, free turtle for Falcon.
Falcon really showing their dominance in the sense that they are the ones setting that tempo. They are going in for those pickoffs. They're going in for those objectives. And RSGSG, they have not been able to formulate a kind of side plan to stave off the pressure that, of course, Falcon keeps on giving towards them. So now, 3 minutes in, with the lead that Falcon has adapted, what can we see from the items?
this is a little bit interesting considering that Silent didn't opt to go for shoes. He actually opted for full damage all the way through, but considering that how well Falcon is actually doing doing in terms of a momentum shift, he doesn't really need a lot of support because there's just nobody ganking on towards Insane, and he's just opted to go for damage to just completely out DPS BB kicks.
Yeah, it's very similar to my playstyle, right? Just don't go for boots, don't go for mobility, no defense, just offense. That's why I usually lose games. Obviously, that's not what they're trying to do. They're just using that to maybe just snowball earlier here in the game. But Bray looking for a punishment on the Justin, who's stepping a little bit too aggressively here. But again, just pops that sprint, easy walkout for him as Ken just takes that Lethal Wanderer out. Both teams resetting here, not going too aggressively, but 505 is looking for big baby cakes, gets hooked, and they're just so good at this. They play it so well. 505 gets a Numenon Blast onto 2, but it's outside of the real world manipulation. They can't really go for anything else here. Falcon backs up, but that's all they wanted. The pick onto baby cakes. Ken now will re-engage. Bray going to get taken down, but the jungler was traded. Naomi looking for another cheeky hook onto 505. It's just a trade here.
This is so smart coming from Valve because they realize that RSG is forced to fight the issues every single time, and they just allow Silent to get another kill just like that. As long as they overextend, they're gonna get freebies after freebies.
Basically, that was 3-for-1 trade for the side of Falcon. I mean, they lost the jungler, but they also was able to take down Baby Kicks, 505, and another member on the board. So Falcon is winning all these trades, and once again, it does seem like RSG, they're looking for some sort of trade-off. Unfortunately, with the dominance that the Uranus can have to equalize in that EXP lane, the way that Diablo needs to play is that they need to be able to cross-focus, and it's very difficult to achieve.
Now you see him, now you don't. 505 just disappears out of thin air there. But I do want to bring up this little thing. Falcon, they're so awkward in their positioning, right? They're always just awkward. You can't really just pin all of the 5 members down. They're always left, right, center, back, just everywhere. All across the map. They don't know where these people are positioning. Silence always just invisible from the crowd.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He positioned himself so far back to make sure that as long as Naomi sets up the hook, he is going to connect with those snipe shots. And because of that, he's getting free kills after free kills. And look at the damage down he's done so far. 15,000 as compared to the mages coming in from the rest of the teams.
My god, Baby Cake's not having a fun time there. Look at where his position is, at
goodness.
the bottom of the leaderboard below everyone else. He is sitting at a 0-2-0, and I'm curious, how far behind is he on the items? I mean, he is forced to rotate towards that top side, but once again,
Naomi gets a hook onto Bray. It's going to be traded though, as that's going to be Yellow Flash taken low, but the consecration with the sprint is enough to get him out of there. Falcon, once again, they're playing the strong side of the map. They're playing for that gold lane that has now shifted over to that top side. And RSG, instead of looking for trades, they're just trying to respond, trying to just face check, and they get punished every single time. Yellow Flash, he's unkillable at this point.
Agreed. And as of yet, look at how Falcon is playing. They have no reason to be aggressive. All they gotta do is just wait for them to make a mistake. And every single time RG makes a play, they are gonna turtle up and get freebies after freebies. And that's the beauty of what Franco does to you, right? You wanna get aggressive? Not really that aggressive. All you gotta do is just land that one nice hook, and it's pretty much over from the side of RSG.
And you know, honestly, I'm really curious. Right? How can RSGSG win this? Do they win in a team fight situation?
They do, but if that happens, no. Miku finally used it to purify, getting out of the hook, but it's going to be the re-engage coming in from the side of RSG. Naomi, he survives that? Just, I don't get it anymore, man. Falcon, they're positioning themselves so well, and they're calculating the damage coming through from the side of RSG to just not get punished by their over-aggressive movements at this point. Falcon picks up a free turret in the mid lane based on just, I mean, they traded with one flicker from Naomi.
I mean, what's difficult is even if you want to say, okay, the way to counter Falcon is to ban Naomi. That doesn't work. Because look at that. All of these people, they're making their individual plays.
Yeah, I definitely agree. In RSG, they're just scrambling. They don't exactly have a clear condition on what they want to do because as of yet, they're trying the defensive strategy, but this is a special that they do. They love to lean on this. When things don't go really well, play as safe as possible, but that's the downside. You're losing so much map control and resources across the map, and Falcon is just taking advantage of this situation and not making any overextension in all these plays.
Because currently, right, it's just not fair. Let's be honest here, it's just not fair because it doesn't matter who Naomi hooks at this point. You hook a tank, he's dead. You hook anyone from RSG, they're just dead, right? And this is why this combo is just so nasty. Franco, Beatrix with the Wesker, you're just gone. 505 now, look for play. Goes in for the stun onto Ken, but Diablo, even with that follow-through, is not going to be able to do it. Naomi cancels the Numenon Blast. Real-world manipulation pop there, baited out. Justin caught in the bad situation, but still gets out with the help of the sprint and the black shoes. lose once again. We're seeing it from Falcon. They're so good at baiting abilities out. And RSG, they've lost all of their ultimates, all 5.
And this is huge, and it's not over yet, but as of yet, Diablo is back to actually punish now Justin, who's used up his black shoe, but it's only a mage. As long as Silent is alive, things are not going to be looking good. However, looks like Falcon, they're going to trade off tier 2 up top for a little bit more economy gains.
Dude, that makes me feel a little bit better though, right? At least RSG SG was able to at least pick one member from the side of Falcon down, because the dominance displayed right now from Falcon is just so unfortunate to see for the side of RSG SG. And on your note about that Beatrix, see, I don't even want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk because I'm trying to make a point, and then suddenly Naomi comes in with a hook out of nowhere. What
Come on,
can
man.
I say? Come
Hey,
on,
just trying to speak, man.
Exactly.
Naomi, why are you so good at the game, man? I agree with you. You know, every time he throws a hook, even in his own purple buff, in his own jungle when there's no one there, I just gasp. I don't know what he's gonna do, right? But right now, Falcon, they're just dominating. 7,000 gold lead. They did it in 10 minutes in the first game. Now it's 9 minutes in, and they have 8,000.
I have a fun fact though.
Yeah, what is it?
We were talking about the Beatrix Franco combo, right? My fun fact is that Beatrix Franco pickup has been picked up 6 times with a 100% win rate.
Absolutely, but you know what else is going on here? RSG, again, they're just trying desperately to force a fight, and that's gonna be Yellow Flash on the back, just dealing so much damage, buying
There you
so
go.
much time. Diablo gets hooked once again. He still is able to run away, but now Yellow Flash looking for damage onto that backside. Diablo running for his life. Bray loses his life, and again, Falcon. I don't know how they do it, man. They're caught in these awkward situations, but they play this so well. And that's another pickup. Diablo, he ran for his life. Now he's taken down. Falcon, they always chain it with objectives as well.
This is insane plays coming from Falcon. It's just so difficult to push into this. And RGSG, you can see that just their trigger discipline is just off the charts. They're not even paying attention. They're just throwing everything at all. And you've seen the mind games are being played, and it's getting into the heads of RGSG, and it's getting pretty obvious as well as Falcon, especially coming from Naomi, is just completely tilting them off the screen for game 1 as well as game 2 now.
1,000 gold lead per minute, man, basically, right? 11k gold for Falcon here in 11 minutes. Silent, he's just going for the render shot. He's just sieging it down here in the mid lane. RSG just simply have no response towards the aggression that Falcon is displaying here. They took down that passive from the side of the mid turret as well. This is going to be huge for Falcon as they look for the siege with the Lord here, just controlling the minion waves so that they can crash all 3 waves at the same time.
The one thing that stands out to me once again from the side of Falcon is like their synergy is muscle memory. I don't even know if they're communicating at this point.
They're
I don't
silent,
know
right?
if it's just like telepathy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
like
just silent, yeah.
silent.
I get it, I get
That's
it.
a joke, by the way. But real world manipulation here from the side of RSG. No, not blast! Cancel! No, he gets it! He goes for the flicker onto Naomi, but the damage is not there. Baby Cakes gets taken down. A double kill here for Ken, and that's Ken looking for the triple. It is the base wide open for Falcon. They can go for the end here. The Lord is still up. RSG, they went for the desperate play. It did not pay off, and Falcon can now just punish through. Top side gonna get taken down as well. Can they end is the question.
Yeah, it seems like they are in prime position to do so. It's all up to Mikumi and Diablo. We've seen this have a deja vu from game 1. They go for the desperate plays, but gets obliterated, and Falcon clips a clean 2-0 against RSG.
This
Match
is getting
point.
scary. This is getting real scary. Match a point. Tournament lives on at stake. Falcon, it doesn't seem like a lower bracket match. Falcon, they're letting loose, you know? They're so loose. They're no more jitters that we saw in the group stage, day number 1. We saw a little bit of that from Falcon. They were kind of hesitant. We saw it yesterday against RSGP.